I'd like to talk today about man-made global warming. More specifically about the claim that CO2, with an increase of CO2, the planet gets warmer. Now, let's take it from a purely common sense realm. Can you name one environment in which it is warm and wet? Or let's say hot and wet. Name that environment. Jungles. What are jungles known for? Lots of plants, lots of animals. Hot, wet environments produce lots of plants, lots of animals. There's every indication that a good chunk of the world during the time of the dinosaurs was very warm and very wet. And guess what they had? Lots of plants, lots of animals. Now, what do a lot of animals produce? CO2. What does a lot of dead plants produce? You know, when the plants die and the trunks start rotting away or leaves fall off the tree, what does that produce? CO2. So, of course, when you have a hotter, wetter environment, you're going to have more CO2. It's common sense. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to reverse it. Now, would you say the CO2 emitted by those animals in the jungle and by the rotting vegetation is why the jungle is so warm? Of course not. You would say it's because it's close to the equator, which means it gets more sunlight than it does on the poles of the planet. Common sense, right? Yet, in the world of man-made global warming, this is not considered common sense. In fact, you are actually led to believe that the very existence of CO2 is what makes everything warmer. Like into the idea that the animals and the plants in the jungle makes the jungle warmer. It doesn't make a lot of common sense. Now, am I saying humans don't pollute? Absolutely, humans do pollute. Am I saying that humans can't alter an environment? Yes, we can. We can alter environments. But I am saying primarily on a local level, with very limited global influence. You have to understand that all humanity, taken as a sum, could fit in the state of Texas, and that city would be less dense than New York City is. Humanity has been spread out all over the place. Okay? We're spread out, and that's what makes us so broad, and it makes our appearance seem to be so huge. But we also forget that the vast majority of the planet is water, and no one lives in it. And that water produces air as well. I always get so irritated with schools that say, trees, you have to have trees or you won't have air. That's not true. I like trees. I think they're great. I don't want to cut them down. They're nice. I like having trees in my yard. So on and so forth. But trees are not the only thing that produces air. Algae produces air. Seaweeds produce air. The ocean produces air. The forest does too, but so do plains. So does the bush in the corner. You know, and on your property does. Anything that's green and growing is producing air. I'm not opposed to proper management of the environment. I am opposed to alarmism. I'm old enough to remember when they were telling me how man-made pollutants like carbon dioxide was going to make the planet freeze over. And now they're telling me it's going to make the planet melt. You know, it doesn't make any sense. It's all this doom and gloom, and of course they're making it so dramatic and so scary that no one in their right mind would ever want to do it. Anyways, that's my standard on viewpoint on man-made global warming. I consider it a myth. Thank you very much, and have a good day, and God bless.